From the time you're young, you've been fed the idea that relentless effort and endless struggle are the keys to getting what you want in life. It's drilled into you: hustle, grind, push harder. But what if all that effort, all that pushing, is exactly what's stopping you from getting the things you're chasing?
Think about it. How many times have you desperately wanted something, a relationship, a job, an opportunity, and poured every ounce of your being into chasing it, only for it to drift further away? Then, the moment you finally give up, the moment you let it slip from your grasp, it comes effortlessly to you, as if by magic. Why does life work this way? What's really going on here? Today, I'm going to share a surprising truth that could forever change the way you approach everything you desire. This isn't some feel-good cliche. This is a powerful shift, grounded in both psychology and timeless wisdom, that explains precisely why the less you force, the more you flourish. Let's start with something you've probably experienced firsthand: anxiety. The more you try to push anxiety away, the stronger it becomes. Psychologists have long understood this paradox, often called the rebound effect. The very act of resisting anxiety actually fuels it. The harder you try to feel calm, the more stressed you become, because your mind is stuck fighting itself, creating internal tension that blocks natural ease. Now extend this idea beyond anxiety. Apply it to success, relationships, happiness, even creativity. When you're tightly fixated on an outcome, obsessing over every detail, you unintentionally suffocate the natural rhythm that makes things unfold effortlessly. You stop the flow of opportunities because you're too busy micromanaging every move. Instead of being open and receptive, you're rigid and reactive, always in a tense state of struggle. There's real psychological science here. When your mind senses desperation, it moves into a defensive mode, reinforcing feelings of scarcity and panic. This psychological state triggers your stress hormones, which then clouds your thinking and decision-making abilities. So instead of attracting solutions, you're subconsciously pushing them away. You're stuck spinning your wheels, wondering why everything feels so difficult. Ancient philosophers knew this secret thousands of years ago. The Stoics called it amor fati, the love of fate. Instead of trying to control every outcome, they advised embracing life exactly as it unfolds, trusting that everything happens precisely as it should. When you approach life this way, you're no longer struggling against reality. You're flowing with it, effortlessly aligning yourself with possibilities you never saw coming. Consider relationships. When you chase someone's approval, you become needy. Neediness is unattractive, not because it's wrong to want connection, but because people instinctively sense you're coming from a place of lack rather than abundance. When you stop chasing approval and become comfortable within yourself, something powerful happens. People naturally gravitate towards you. Your relationships deepen without strain because you've stopped trying to force them into shape. The same is true with your goals and dreams. Yes, action matters, effort matters, but it's the quality of your effort that determines your success. Struggle is not the secret to achievement. Rather, it's the clarity and ease of your actions. When you take action from a place of calm certainty, rather than frantic desperation, your efforts become immensely more powerful. Picture this vividly. Two swimmers in the ocean. One panics, flailing and fighting against the waves. The other relaxes, trusting the current to carry them to shore. Both want the same outcome: safety and success. But the first wastes their energy fighting the inevitable, while the second harnesses natural forces, effortlessly reaching their destination. Life works exactly like this. This isn't about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about actively engaging with life from a place of trust, not fear. It's about shifting your energy away from desperation, away from anxiety, away from constant tension, and towards calm, confident alignment. This simple shift allows the universe to work alongside you rather than against you. When you stop forcing outcomes, something remarkable happens. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Relationships blossom without effort. Success begins to chase you, rather than you desperately chasing success. It's not magic, it's alignment. You're finally in tune with life's natural flow, where possibilities unfold smoothly and effortlessly. So here's the powerful insight you need today. Stop trying so hard. Shift your energy from desperate chasing to calm, intentional action. Recognize that often doing less, struggling less, creates space for more to flow into your life. When you think deeply about the way you approach your goals, it's easy to see why constantly pushing doesn't get you the results you expect. Let's explore this on a deeper psychological level. Why exactly does releasing control often lead to better outcomes? To fully understand this phenomenon, we need to talk about something called attachment, a core concept in both psychology and Eastern philosophy. Attachment is essentially a powerful emotional bond you create with a specific outcome, person, or scenario. And while it might seem logical that strong attachment to your goals or dreams would fuel your ambition and drive, it actually does the opposite. It creates pressure, anxiety, and tension, which in turn blocks you from truly succeeding. Here's how it works practically. When you're strongly attached, you're operating from a place of fear. Fear of losing the thing you're attached to, fear of not achieving it, fear of falling short. Your subconscious mind senses this fear and immediately shifts into a protective mode, activating your internal alarm systems. Stress hormones like cortisol flood your system, and instead of helping you perform better, these hormones make you reactive, impulsive, and emotionally volatile. Instead of calmly navigating obstacles, you're suddenly overwhelmed by them, unable to seek clear solutions. There's a fascinating study conducted on performance anxiety among professional athletes. Researchers found that athletes who overly fixated on winning actually performed worse under pressure than those who remained calmly focused on simply executing their skills. When the pressure was removed and athletes were encouraged just to enjoy the game and remain present, their performance improved dramatically. It wasn't skill or preparation that changed. It was simply the shift away from intense attachment and pressure toward a state of calm presence. This isn't limited to sports, it's true for all of life. Think about someone who's incredibly anxious during a job interview. Their attachment to getting that job, to making a perfect impression, often sabotages their performance. Their body language tightens, their speech stumbles, and their answers feel forced. Meanwhile, someone else enters the same interview, relaxed and unattached to the outcome, simply confident in themselves and their abilities. They perform better naturally, not because they're necessarily more skilled, but because they're free from the overwhelming pressure of attachment. What's happening here isn't random. Psychologists explain this phenomenon through a concept called outcome independence. Outcome independence means that your self-worth, happiness, or inner peace doesn't hinge entirely on achieving a certain outcome. Instead, your self-worth remains stable, regardless of external events. When you cultivate this mindset, you become psychologically resilient and emotionally balanced, able to respond flexibly and creatively to challenges rather than being controlled by them. Interestingly, this doesn't mean you shouldn't set ambitious goals or desire success. It simply means detaching your emotional well-being from the outcome. Goals become guidelines, not ultimatums. You learn to say, it would be great if this happens, but I'll still be okay if it doesn't. This subtle but profound shift in perspective removes fear from the equation, allowing you to pursue what matters to you from a place of inner freedom rather than desperate compulsion. This is exactly what Zen philosophy calls Wu Wei, the art of effortless action. It's not laziness or apathy. Instead, Wu Wei means taking action that flows naturally from within, free from forced control or stress. It's a state of being in perfect alignment with yourself and your surroundings, responding intuitively to life's challenges rather than fighting against them. When you embody Wu Wei, your actions become powerful precisely because you're not forcing anything. You're simply letting things flow. This can seem paradoxical because we've been conditioned to equate more effort with better results. But if you honestly reflect on your life, you'll notice countless examples where trying harder only made things worse. Maybe it was the relationship you tried to fix by controlling every interaction, or the creative project you struggled to perfect so obsessively that you lost all inspiration. Only when you stepped back, relaxed, and stopped forcing things, did the situation finally resolve itself? The key here isn't to abandon effort entirely. It's to redefine what productive effort looks like. Productive effort is calm, focused, and purposeful. It stems from genuine passion and curiosity, not anxiety or desperation. Productive effort trusts the process and accepts the reality that you can't control everything, and that's okay. Imagine an artist painting a masterpiece. If they're tense, overly critical, obsessing about making every stroke perfect, the creativity stops flowing. Their art becomes stiff and unnatural. But the moment they release that control, trusting their intuition and allowing their instincts to guide their hand, the magic begins. Their work comes to life effortlessly, almost as if created by something beyond themselves. You can apply this wisdom to your life today. Start by recognizing where you're clinging too tightly to outcomes and consciously begin to loosen that grip. This isn't giving up, it's opening up. It's about learning to trust yourself, trust the process, and trust that sometimes letting go is precisely what allows the best things in your life to happen. Let's talk about control, because this is where it gets sneakily destructive. Most people are walking through life with their fists clenched, trying to control how things unfold, whether it's a conversation, a career path, or even how others perceive them. They're gripping tight to an imagined outcome, hoping that if they just do enough, worry enough, or plan enough, everything will fall into place. But life rarely cooperates with that kind of pressure. In fact, it tends to push back harder the tighter you squeeze. The illusion of control gives you a temporary sense of safety, but it's a false sense. What you're actually doing is creating internal resistance, fighting with what is. You start to operate from fear, from insecurity, from an unspoken belief that you're not enough unless the outcome looks a certain way. And this is exactly why things begin to fall apart the moment you grip too tightly. This mindset shows up everywhere. Think of someone obsessively refreshing their phone, waiting for a reply, or a person rehearsing every word before a conversation, trying to manage every possible response. That over-planning, over-analyzing, it doesn't create better outcomes. It creates tension, and that tension leaks into your energy, your tone, your body language. Others can feel it, and it repels. Now compare that to someone who walks into the same situation with a relaxed confidence. They don't need to prove anything. They don't need to force anything. Their presence speaks louder than their effort. People naturally gravitate toward them, not because they're trying so hard, but because they're not. That relaxed state is magnetic. And this isn't some fluffy spiritual idea. There's real neuroscience behind it. When you're overly controlling, you trigger your brain's threat detection system. Your amygdala takes over, making your decisions emotionally reactive. Your creativity shuts down. Your problem-solving narrows. You can't see opportunities clearly because your brain is screaming, fix it now. But when you release control, when you calm down, breathe, and let go, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning, insight, and creativity. You literally become smarter by letting go. Letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your part and then trusting the process. There's a difference between giving up and giving into flow. Giving up is rooted in hopelessness, but giving in, that's rooted in wisdom. It means you're no longer trying to micromanage the universe. You're recognizing that some things are beyond your reach, and that's not a weakness. That's a superpower. It also helps you shift from outcome to presence. Instead of being caught in a never-ending loop of what ifs and what should be, you return to the now. And it's only in the now that real change happens. All your clarity, your insights, your decisions, they arise in this moment, not in the imaginary future you're trying to control. So ask yourself, where in your life are you still gripping too tightly? Is it your image, your success, a relationship? What would happen if you loosened your grip, even just a little? You might realize that the thing you're chasing is already on its way to you, but you were too busy forcing the wrong door to notice the right one was wide open. There's a moment, quiet and invisible, when something inside you finally surrenders, not in defeat, not because you gave up, but because you're done carrying what was never yours to carry. You stop running toward outcomes, stop clenching your jaw trying to hold it all together, and for the first time, you let life breathe. That's when things shift. You start noticing the way stress has crept into your posture, the way your thoughts spiral without pause, and suddenly, without pushing or pulling, life starts responding differently. The right people begin showing up. The ideas start clicking. You speak a little more clearly. You walk a little lighter. Not because everything magically changed, but because you did. Letting go isn't about sitting back and watching life happen to you. It's about releasing your grip on the illusion that control was the answer. It's realizing that effort without presence is just noise, and that the version of you who trusts, who softens, who listens, that's the one who finally sees the path clearly. This moment right here, it's the beginning of that shift. If anything resonated, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Let this be a space where we stop pretending we have it all figured out. Let's be real. Let's talk. Let's grow together. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into this kind of self-awareness, don't forget to subscribe. This journey is just beginning, and you're exactly where you need to be.